It's Monday, the 14th, that's the day of July 2026. I don't know why I'm thinking 14. Maybe because my birthday was on the 14th of June. But you're welcome to another edition of GH Today. I am Lily Mohammed. Today, according to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, there are predictions of about 40% showers. And so as you're stepping out, you want to ensure that you're adequately prepared. You ensure if you live in a low-lying area, please make sure that your home is safe. And as you're stepping out, for those of you who are commuting to work, you want to observe safety precautions. Let's take you to court. Captain has joined me this morning. Good morning, Captain. How are you?
Good morning, Lily. I'm good. Yourself?
Were you expecting some rain showers this morning?
Yes. When I saw
the communique.
Yeah, yesterday I wanted to forward it to our bosses and say that the Matthew is saying that between 4 a.m.
4 and 7 a.m.
So just in case. And then
I don't show up, then you know that.
But the rain actually started somewhere around 1 a.m. thereabout.
It was rain on my end.
Oh, it was drizzling in my area around 1 a.m. there. So I said, afa. I woke up at 4 and then the whole place was just dry. I said, well, that's right. You have to get ready and get to work. So we're still anticipating that maybe it could rain.
But actually,
40%.
as we speak, it's drizzling in some areas.
Places,
so everybody needs to be cautious this morning as well. But let's look at the issues happening in court.
Yes, the Supreme Court at 150. How are you bracing yourself for it? How are you bracing yourself for it?
It's been a long time coming, 150 years.
Yes.
Rule of law has been upheld beautifully.
Exactly.
I know that there are a few grievances here and there, but by and large, I think that it has served us really well in the 150 years it has been as a Supreme Court. Has really served us well.
It's true. So a series of activities have been put in place. If you look at even the transition from then to now, the kind of cases that we've had, the kind of, you said the law is the constitution, or it's more like a living organism, so it keeps growing. So every now and then we keep making sure that decisions are taken that improve on the justice delivery in the country and all of that. And let me even remind you of that of the first election petition that we had, the presidential election petition. It gave some room to the next one that we had in 2021 and all of that. So the Supreme Court at 150 is still on. Activities are gathering momentum. First of all, there was a sword cutting ceremony at Cape Coast where a new court complex is being constructed. There was a lecture of a sort also in Cape Coast, very interesting one, of course. And currently what is about to happen is that judicial outreach, where justices, lawyers will be storming the various markets, especially the Makola market.
Okay.
And guess what? Our own Sewame is involved in there. Justice Ifya Sewa Sariboche involved in there, trying to whip interest, trying to tell the market women that on this day, on 11th of July, there's no place to be than the Makola market, Makola shopping mall. And then, of course, the Ghana School of Law, where we have a lot of lawyers sit there, wait for you, come and ask questions about marital properties, about child custody, almost everything. And that is one thing that we should all be expecting as part of the a month-long activities to celebrate the Supreme Court at 150, of course. So let's hear from Justice Sewa Sariboche and Sewame Esquire.
Hello everyone, I am Sewa here, and this morning I'm here with Her Ladyship Justice Ifya Sewa Sariboche, Justice of the Court of Appeal. The Supreme Court is 150 years old, and in celebrating the 150 years of giving out justice, we are on a legal outreach on the 11th of July 2026 at the Makola Market, the Makola Mall and Pasiegas and the 31st Market. What we'll basically be doing is to answering every question on your mind, especially on marital property and whether or not marriage is important in this day and age. I've seen that there are lots of questions about the necessity or importance of marriage. Do you think marriage is important? Well, Her Ladyship will be there among other judges and of course many other lawyers to answer all those questions about spousal property, maintenance and custody when there's a divorce or nullity even. And then any other question, legal question on your mind on that day will be answered those questions by the
just a little addition that on that day, in addition to the float and the outreach, we will be having a lot of lawyers and judges available at the law school to answer your questions. So while the program is ongoing and even after the program, the lawyers and the GHOne will be at the door of the law school waiting to answer every.
So Justice Ifeasewa Asari-Botwe, Justice of the Court of Appeal, and then lawyer Sewa Amihe, giving us some perspective on the kind of activities that will be taking place in there at Makola and its surrounding, just so to engage the people, let the people understand what happened in the court and what they are supposed to know in relation to marital properties, custody of child, and all of you. So if you have any question, there's no place to be done these places that they have mentioned in all of that. But as part of the activities, Lily, moot court. There's a moot court competition in there. Director, let's have the artwork on moot court. Then I'll share to you which schools are taking place in relation to this moot court. And get 12 schools. And what are these schools? So this is a National Constitutional Moot Court Competition 2020 as part of the anniversary. And so the law faculties and the law schools registered and approved to participate. And who are these schools? Central University. Then we have the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA. CAF University, King's University College, then Lancaster University of Ghana, Pentecost University in the University of Business and Integrated Development Studies, UBIDS, the University of Cape Coast, Cape Verde, in the University of Ghana School of Law, the University of Professional Studies, that's UPSA, Wisconsin International University College, Lily, Ghana, and of course, Zenith University.
I like the fact that you mentioned my name.
Yes. So these are the 12 schools that will be participating, and it's a 2-day event. The first, the preliminary stage will start on the 20th of July. Then the grand finale will take place on the 21st of July. So these are some of the activities that you should look forward to as part of the Supreme Court at 150 celebration. Quite packed and quite interesting activities in all of that. Even before that, there will be what do you know activities also coming out where people will be pitching up to know what do you know, your knowledge about the law and everything and all of that. So these are some of the activities that as part of the Supreme Court at 150 we should be expecting.
As of Saturday, there are a few things flying around with regards to the former Buffer Stock CEO.
Yes.
And then the deputy AG put out a communique, and I saw lawyers of Hanan also put out a release as well.
Absolutely.
Give us the detail.
Yeah, so on Saturday, I think 4th, that was, is it Saturday?
Yes, 4th.
On the 4th. Then the Deputy Attorney General gave us an information, and that information is the fact that the former Buffer Stock CEO, Hanan Abdul Wahab, was arrested. I know that the High Court has granted him permission to travel out of the country for medical examination. Now, on his way in the airport, he was picked up. And it was picked up on reason that the Attorney General paid the post. I believe that he made an attempt to withdraw some monies in an account that had been frozen. Director, let's look at the artwork from the Justice Strem side. And so it has become very necessary that they look at it and then investigate into that matter. So this is what the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Jestrem Sai, posted when that information came, that the law enforcement officers have a while ago, and this is the 4th, arrested Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab Aludiba at the Accra International Airport. I almost said Akotoka International Airport. It's now Accra International Airport. Mr. Aludiba, who is currently standing trial for stealing and accused and causing financial loss to the Republic, was granted leave by the High Court, by Trial High Court, to travel to UK for a few days. It was, however, Mr. Aludiba's attempt to use false means to empty his frozen bank account with the Republic Bank on Thursday, which occasioned tonight's arrest. The learned Attorney General will, on Monday, that is today, seek a review of the court order which granted Mr. Aludiba leave to travel out of the country. So this is the information that the Deputy Attorney General has given to the public in relation to why Abdul Wahab was arrested at the Accra International Airport. Then a few minutes later, the following day, his lawyers, led by former Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame, also came out with a statement, and that statement is sought to clarify what the situation with their client is. So it chronicles everything that was said and make the point that, the steps taken by the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, of course, the BNI Director, it flies in the face of the orders that the High Court has given. Director, let's move on to the next one. And so they are going to back to the court to tell the court something. And so if you look at the communique that they came out with, Chronicle numbered it up to from 1 to 7. And let me take you to number 6. So it is thus grossly deceptive and misleading for the Attorney General and his deputy to deploy the Bureau of National Investigation, that's BNI, to arrest our client based on the false allegation of an attempt to withdraw money from a frozen account, evidence of which does not exist. Director, let's look at the concluding part. So we consider the development very serious as it confirms our suspicion that the Attorney General and his deputy are the mastermind of the frequent violation of court orders by law enforcement agencies and the persistent harassment of our client and other citizens of Ghana under the current administration. We will accordingly institute proceedings for contempt. That will be very, very interesting to see Attorney General contempt. So let me take it away. We will accordingly institute proceedings for contempt of court against the Attorney General, his deputy, and the Director of BNI for this blatant and willful violation of an order of a court of competent jurisdiction. Freedom, in fact, has become a rare and expensive commodity. And this one is from Godfred Yeboah-Dame, former Attorney General, who is counsel for Hanan Abdul Wahab.
Captain, you've been following this particular case. Has the frozen accounts been unfrozen yet?
Not that I know for now. And the reason I am making the point that not that I know for now is that the parties are at the tail end of, in fact, the court has fixed dates for the trial to begin, and certain documents have been submitted to the court during disclosure documents. So all these evidential materials came up. Frozen documents, materials, evidential material, all of them have been put in place. But it is yet to be tendered in evidence because the witnesses who will come will have to come and speak to each of them. And that is where it will come to light about this particular bank account that we are talking about, and then the others freezing this. So it is something that will come up. And today, it's one of the things that we should be looking at for, because the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Stremsa, indicated that, they'll be going to court to seek for a bail variation. But of course, a date has been fixed for this trial to begin, in the case of Hanan Wahab to begin. And once it begins, we'll know in details.
How many accounts were frozen? One,
in relation to this one, this is what I know for now.
Just one, right?
I know that there are the other bank accounts that have it, especially when it has to do with stealing of funds. And they always absolutely. So it is one thing that we should be looking forward to in relation to this matter.
All right, Captain, what else are we looking at today?
So, Chairman Wuntumi, the Exim Bank case.
The God factor.
So today, So today, remember that in the Exim Bank case, he submitted a proposal for plea bargaining.
Yeah.
The parties were in court, asked for 2 weeks for them to come back to court and announce terms of settlement. That was supposed to be on the 3rd of July, and the 3rd of July was a holiday. So today being 6th of July, the parties are back. The Attorney General and his lawyers will come to court and now update the court. If they have agreed on terms, they'll have to announce it to the court. If the court accepts it, then we agreed. And then whatever will follow, will follow. And that will mean that if the Attorney General doesn't withdraw the charge sheet, it means Chairman Wuntin will have to plead guilty and then accept a lesser punishment in relation to this. So that is one of the things that we should keep an eye on in relation to what is happening today in relation to the Exim Bank case. Plea bargaining update to the court this morning.
What else are we looking at, Captain?
Coming Dubai, Angela J. Boatin, and then Advantage Solutions. So,
National Signals Bureau.
Absolutely. Marshall Cromwell, the investigator, is in the witness box, and today is a day that we're going to see cross-examination, proper cross-examination from lawyers of the accused persons led by Samuel Atachi. And remember that Samuel Atachi has consistently said that this is a witness that he's been waiting for. So we'll be in court to see the kind of questions that he will be subjected, because this witness has said a lot of things that the defense will also have to subject him to cross-examination. So this morning, that case is also before Justice Francis Apangabonu at Chibonga. We'll be there and I will bring you more updates. So Lily, these are the cases that we show. And of course, there's one about the OSP, and then the former, Charles BCU, in relation to that. Absolutely. And this is the matter that he and 2 others are before the court on alleged corruption and corruption-related charges. And they pleaded not guilty. The first prosecution witness, who happened to be somebody who works with ANAS, is expected in the witness box to testify. Earlier, his 53 witness statements, 24 of them were expunged, were deleted from there. He could not rely on because the court believed that it is a hearsay evidence and all. So the remaining is what they will be relying on, and we expect that. The OSP has asked for a stay because the Supreme Court on the 29th of July will be making determination about whether the OSP acts or whether the OSP has a mandate to prosecute cases or not. And the High Court is saying that for now, there's no express order. Continue with your cases. When the Supreme Court make that decision, they will know where it fits and they will make the appropriate decision. So that is one of the things that we should expect today, Lily. Okay.
All right, Captain, thank you very much. That should do for court today. I take a break here. When I return, we'll talk briefly about the Black Stars. We know that the coach of the senior national team, the Ghana Black Stars, has resigned. What does this mean for the country? Do we need to overhaul the team? If we're looking to bring a new coach, what are some of the key things we need to look out for in bringing on a new manager for the team? Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. This is still GH Today here on GHOne TV, and I am Lily Mohammed. It's time for the breakfast review. My guests have joined me this morning. This morning I've been joined by Theophilus Jimega Jr. Esquire. He's a mining engineer. He's also a private legal practitioner and a member of the NDC communications team. Dr. Dixon Adomako Kisi is a former member of parliament for the good people of Anya. So he's also a member of the NPP communications team. Good morning.
Good morning, Lily. We can't complain. Just that the England game took some of us into the morning.
Oh, okay.
Much as some of us were praying for them to lose.
Why?
They feel too entitled. Yeah, and
but you don't think that every team goes out there with that mentality?
No. There are some. I mean, there is a Ugandan proverb that a short man cannot grow tall. That means that's your limit. Some people know their limit. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the games played, to a large extent, I think Ghana needs to sit up. Yes, but aside,
did you watch the game on Saturday?
I watched the game to a level, and I was asking myself, I should have maybe gotten some kenke or banku by the side, and by now had eaten and sleep. And
that's at 1 a.m.?
Yes, I mean, because you have been awake from, 5 something, waiting for all this, having eaten like 5 o'clock, waiting for all this. I was like, if Osu night market was close to me, I would have gone to look for some kenke, because at the stage, it was too unbearable. You see, they carried the whole nation behind them.
Sure.
And on the match we played with England, I came out to a pub to watch, and you can see even people selling Indomie and all those. They left their wares to watch the game. You hear them literally praying for Black Stars. And I think that football would have lifted our psyche and mood around this time, but it's like perennial something. I was a bit disappointed. You look at it, everybody is investing in football heavily. You watch all the African countries. Look at Cape Verde. Who would have thought that they would have taken Argentina to extra time? Look at DR Congo. They could have even been 2 goals up. Look at Senegal. I mean, and I was wondering, assuming that we are top our group and had met DR Congo, they would have beaten us. And, oh no. I think that we need, I don't want to pinpoint the individual players, but...
Do we need an overhaul of the team? A proper overhaul?
It's without saying. But I don't know if you are old enough to remember when Dr. Nyawo Tambekulu took over Accra House of Folk. He sent a lot of the old guys away. Then he brought the likes of Yao Preku, Shamokwe, Olabode Williams, and Dubate, Joe Ado, all those guys. And they did marvelously well. And when Sir Alex Ferguson took over in Manchester United, he brought the young boys, and somebody said, you can't win the league with boys. And they did marvelously well. But what is the next group that we have now? Yes, I think that when the Sule Muntaris, Stephen Apias, Kufos, Vossas were going, there was no group that was following up properly. Plan. Yes, and those groups went from winning the under-20 to the Black Stars, etc. And we had a foreign infusion. I mean, then you look at Morocco. Morocco had a time. You hear the commentators say it, that they went around all the countries where Moroccans live to pick their boys, to try to tell them from beginning that come and play for the team. So for almost the whole national team, none of them were born in Morocco. And you could see how they were all playing, and we need something like that. But again, how much do we invest in our local football? It's also another thing. But if you have ever worked with any institution under the Ministry of Youth and Sports or National Sports Authority, you understand that it is not Black Stars alone that needs to be overhauled. The whole ministry and the sports authority needs overhaul. There's somebody who is a member of Badminton Association, an executive, and he's an executive of under-17 football. He's an executive of chess, and they are all just like that. So you elect me here, I hope you get elected here. The same people, and some of them are even staff of NSA. And they are still, so you will see that it will take a lot to dismantle those things. Then the other question is, the GFA is an association. Yet they take our money because all of us are involved. If you want to touch them, they say, hey, we are an association. Don't touch us. FIFA will ban you quickly. Yet they come for government money. So somewhere along the line, we can't be giving you money without talking. We should be able to have an input in it. So I think that not overhaul of just the team. I think the management structure, everything is total.
Must Kekt go?
I think they have only a year for him to go.
He's seeking re-election.
I think that was what the constitution was amended so that he would have been elected. So he was elected, I think so. But in our part of the world, hardly do people resign for failure. Hardly. And let me quickly add that the idea that our coach, Carlos Queiroz, says he has resigned. It's not about resignation. That is what he was brought to do.
Yeah, you are giving a 4-month contract.
A 4-month contract. I mean, is he resigning before the 4 months or so he won't take the rest of the money? No. But if you read his statement, he says that Ghana needs a restructuring of the off-the-field situations. So a lot might have gone on that he has realized within these 4 months that off the field, there are a few things that are wrong. So you ask if Kett is going to go. How is he going to go? They say it's an association. We know how all these elections are done by association. It's not by principle. It's not by loyalty. It's not by delivery. It's about who you know and who can talk to you and who can say that, Lily, you know, that guy who is contesting is my uncle's brother's wife, sister's daughter, son, husband. If you do this, you are breaking the household. Then you are also going to vote. So until we are able to see that, football brings revenue.
I mean, a lot of revenue.
Yes, people have started looking for where Cape Verde is.
Yeah.
And they will be flying there by now. People are flying to Cape Verde to go and see where Cape Verde is. And you see the benefit to the likes of Senegal, etc. And so unless we are focused to say that we need to do something marvelous for the country through sports and through sports tourism, I think we are joking. I mean, I think it is time for us to say, let us be easy on ourselves to say that let us do it right for the first time.
Doc, did you watch the game? Our final game before we exited the Mondial?
I missed it. I missed it because of other matters. But overall, I saw each of the other games. A few comments in passing. Certainly, we don't do much for sports in this country. I must admit that under the last administration, we did some things in terms of these astroturfs, which may go a long way to encourage some young boys to practice and train. But in terms of proper structuring, where there are leagues that are well managed to bring out some of the best in our country, I think we're struggling with that. There are raw talents on our streets who may never be found because of our scouting processes. And even if they are found, some of them have also not gone through the rigor of consistent team playing and training and being coached. And that also can be a problem. So I think that, we certainly are underinvesting in sports, and specifically soccer. And I would hope that we can make that strong argument. And then we also need to come to that realization that how we managed soccer in the 80s and 90s, it won't meet the current world level of soccer playing, where, the Abedi Peles alone, I mean, in terms of his own personal skill, can change the tides of the game. Now, literally, many of the teams have their Abedi Peles, so it's a tough thing. And the way manner they handle the balls. In fact, let me admit that when you look at some of the training that these foreign teams go through. Each player on the field is very seriously invested in. And we tend to invest in only a few. The strikers. In fact, I don't know if Ghana even had a midfield, truly. Because we're only doing wings, nothing in the midfield.
And then defending.
In terms of operational assessment. So I'll be kudos to the team. We don't have a choice. We have to say they've done well, and they're heading back home. But
they are home. Actually.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
When did they come? They came individually.
Invariably, I think that we need to certainly put in heavy money, so that you can get the results that you want, and we are not doing enough. Now, unfortunately, most of the astroturfs have even been turned into cultural event centers, and that's not good. So I think that Ghana as a whole, most of the inter-school competitions are even not as vibrant, where you can pick some talents, and as it stands, let's not think of only soccer. 100-meter races, swimming, all kinds of
sporting disciplines
that we've ignored. Badminton, all the various things. I really think that, Ghana as a country, we have lost that idea that our country goes far when we perform well in sports. And even our foreign direct investment is tied to this. He's just making a very strong point. Many are considering Cape Verde not just because of the soccer, but they want an alternative to SA because of what is happening also in terms of the international foreign relations situation with South Africa. So, I'll put it on record. If anybody's going and would take me, I'll go. Yeah, so I think that government after government, and I'm not going to. It so happens that this World Cup is under the NDC administration. I remember some George said the soccer players and how they played are a reflection on government. I would wonder if some George would want to say the same thing this time, which means that if the Black Stars have underperformed, then the Mahama administration is underperforming. Just to borrow from some George. But I would hope that today he would share a different narrative. But in all of this, government...
At what time did he say it?
At that time, we were in government.
When we couldn't qualify for AFCON.
Oh, my key point again. But invariably, government after government, I think, has underinvested in sports. And
you think we have?
Oh, my dear. If you look at some of the investments elsewhere, per GDP, I think, and then let me even add that, sometimes it's a very painful experience when government delays remuneration to some of these players, and there are stories. And I must say, mind you, after this tournament, some of them would not be playing anything major for another 4 years. Some of them, and they'll have to be sustaining themselves through all kinds of means, which sometimes are terrible. And you'd ask yourself, are these national players? And if you stretch this to even women's soccer, another terrible experience. And I have some friends within the Women's Soccer League, and in fact, for the things they do, even ordinary meals are difficult for some of them to get. And those who manage some of the women's soccer leagues will tell you, we've just turned a blind eye to women in soccer. So I think that Kofi Adams, should, as at this point in time, make a stronger case for sports as a whole, and then more importantly, football, which is dear to many people's heart. And this idea of Ghanaians consuming only, foreign soccer also is another issue, which has many dimensions. So we need to strengthen local leagues by the same philosophy of supporting indigenous businesses. We need to really look at it, and we need some Ghanaian Abramovich and things like that. But in concluding on this matter, there's something very dear to me that is troubling. The Nkoko Stadium, okay, which is a home for many Eastern regional schools that play, and then even Co-United and other, sports teams. And it's been left there largely because of politicking. And I think it's not right. So these things, I think yesterday I saw another one on TikTok, Boteman or so. Boteman. The field is there. Now it's growing neem trees and things like that. Very bad. Why do we do this to ourselves as a country? I understand that, yes, the MPP administration did that. But does that mean that the people who go playing there are MPP? Everybody goes to play there. So I really think that, Council, these are very sick things as a nation. When one government does something, another government comes and they literally want to appear as if it is non-existent, should not be used. And we suffer as a country because we've signed, paid for it. We are paying the indebtedness either way. Please. So, in adding to all of this, the Boteman and many other sporting complexes in this country that have been left solely because of politicking, we need to go back to it. Okay. And my plea this morning, not because I'm a co-man, but my plea is that, the Nkoko Stadium needs to be revisited. And this goes to my own uncle, Julius Debra. Since he's chief of staff, this I'm directing to him, that under his leadership, one of the things that I'm pleading with him is that he sees that the pitch for Nkoko is completed, so that local teams can go and play there and do well. Who knows? Who knows?
Can build our teams from there.
Yeah, and Hohoi and Ho too has some very,
but we don't have the Abramovich type. You have Brian with the Kwewu Abramovich. So I was thinking you was going to talk about Brian with the the Kwewu Abramovich.
I didn't want to go there, but mind you,
yes,
he was ready to fund. But like I said, the politicking.
Okay.
I didn't want to go there.
Okay.
And I'm wondering why there's a government program, if an individual is ready to support fully, then you say no. And we need it too. These things are, terrible. So, dear Julius Debra, in your capacity as chief of staff, this is what I want to worry the president. Kindly, by next Easter, that stadium.
Especially as there was a business forum in Kwewu.
Yeah. That the next Easter, we should be able to have the forum even on this pitch, if possible. And, when they do the gliding, they land on that, and it will be much safer and more convenient for people to land on the Nkoko Stadium than any other place. So these are my hope. So who knows, the next business forum, if the pitch is done, can be used as a place for that.
Okay, let's talk about flooding. I'm sure you all received messages from the Ministry of Interior that we are going to experience some 40% showers, and those who live in low-lying areas should be cautious. Exactly a week today, I sat in the same seat and witnessed one of the most devastating flooding incidents we've ever recorded in this country, aside the June 3 disaster. 30 Ghanaians, which include not just Accra, but the central region, and even some in the Volta region perished. We're still looking for some. And many, many homes, which hitherto were not inundated with floods, this time around saw floods. Even though, I mean, in the last couple of years, we've seen floods, but this magnitude was quite high because of the quantum of showers that came in, about 140 to 160 milliliters. That's quite high. And it goes to talk about our preparedness and even our emergency response. Government has tasked the military on tackling flooding. But what more can we do? If it appears the many measures we've put in place have failed over the years, what more can we do? Theo, you're an engineer.
Yes, yes, I'm a water resources engineer. Really, the first thing I want all of us to appreciate is the fact that the flooding knows no political coordination.
True.
It might be happening during a certain government's time. The amount of rain we had, as you rightly said, even some of the most organized cities would have struggled. And we are talking about the tropical rain that has the bigger grain than the non-tropical rain that is like more of a shower. There is a certain breed of fashion entering our psyche. I believe when you go around 10 houses from here, you see that almost all of them have concrete flooring. The fronts are all paved. So assuming that all these houses are supposed to have one tank of water for the period, and we have about 1,000 tanks, 1,000 houses, then that would mean that about 1,000 tanks will have to find their way somewhere. The typical example I would really, really love to give is Circle. When you get to Circle, the whole of Circle is paved. Yet we have the Odo just beside it. So the Circle is paved. Rain falls. Where does the water go?
Is running.
Exactly. And aside that, there is already concentration of water from somewhere into the Odo. So I think that the first thing we need
choked with silt.
The first thing we need to do is that culture of. I've seen a few people have chippings in their homes to allow water to percolate. We should try now to resist the temptation of flooring or concreting or tiling all our pavements. We should resist. Yes, and there are new developments now that they use certain tiles that allow water to percolate quickly. But that will be expensive. That's the first thing. Number two, there had been government upon government that had put in place measures to avert and mitigate the flood situation. But where are the outputs of those things that they have put in place? Now, I think the Ghanaian tendency of when the rain falls, we are worried. As soon as the rain goes, we all forget about it. I want to challenge all of us.
Business as usual.
Yes. That let us follow up and see the remedial measures put in place and some of the preparedness that we've done. I was gladdened when I received a text message that 40% chance of rain. Assuming we've had that over and over, apart from the fact that we'll get used to it, it will also serve as early warning sign for us. But we've not had that. So one of the things we need to do now is, I've also seen videos of young men going around now. They see you throwing things into gutter. They literally arrest you, force you into the gutter to remove whatever you are throwing in. I've seen some of them said that between Amasama and Nsawam or Suhum, if you do it along the road, they are patrolling and they are getting guys to do that. The sad aspect is that will lead to a certain form of mob justice. Now, the government has spent so much educating us. Now we want the government to literally be educating us on how to use the education we have been invested in. I mean, certain things need to come to us that when we are throwing the garbage into the gutters, they are going to get you. The other side of it is that how do we remove the things that they are throwing into the gutters. So if there are rubbish containers, then the people will not be forced to throw them there.
Yeah.
Now, someone will also say that, look, there will be rubbish container, but the person will still go and throw it in. So the NCCE, you have your job cut out for you. I also watched a video yesterday of somebody taking a video at is it La Boma Beach of all the things that the sea was rejecting and the things that have all washed up to the shore. It was an eyesore. So I think the first thing is attitudinal change. We need it seriously. We need it seriously.
The NCC is under-resourced. The NCC boss sat right here in my studio and said, my dear, I am under-resourced.
You see, I will not debate her. I think it's a her.
Yeah, it's a her.
Yes, I will not debate her on that because I don't know what is in the kitty. But you can make do with whatever you have. Yes, we can make do with whatever you have. So that is one area which I think that way before this flood started, I made a post somewhere that the MMDCs, we all know where the flood occurs. But let me chip in this. This morning when I was coming, between Shangri-La and the National Service Association International Traffic Light, I think there had been a burst pipe. There was so much water flowing, gushing on the road. At a stage I asked, did it just rain here? Because, that area used to be so much flooding every time it rains. But I think it didn't rain. So Ghana Water Company, if you are listening and nobody has yet alerted you, do something about that area. Now, we all know the areas that suffer from flooding. So the MMDCs, the NADMOs in the various areas should by now be having plans in place that, and a typical example is between Okonglo traffic light and Ghana Standards. Yes, it's always flooded, even if it is a 10-minute rain.
Even when it drizzles, the place is very...
You always find pools there.
Yeah.
So what are the DCEs in those areas doing? And you will notice that even way after the flooding, the rain has stopped, there are still portions of the road that cannot be used. I mean, you don't need His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed to come and do that. You don't need the Minister for Works or Minister for Local Government to come and do that. The district assemblies and the municipal assemblies need to take charge of those things and do it. The flooding thing, I pray, sincerely pray, that this should be the last one we should have. I remember years back when I saw His Excellency, God bless his soul, Jonathan Mills. Yes, he inspected some of those things and they started putting in place some things. We had a Nana Akufo-Addo era where some things were put in place with all the issues that came up with, to the extent that we even had the days when Ibrahim Mahama wanted to dredge and we were told he was stopped, etc. That ties into what my colleague here had said, that if somebody wants to do it, even if they are not in government, we should allow people to do things like that. Now, we have the Accra program that is supposed to the Garrid that is supposed to minimize all these things. So what is the output? That is what we should all be looking out for. Then there are some people...
bank report says it is unsatisfactory.
Well, depend on where you stand politically. Some politicians also ready that it has been so satisfactory. So depend on... That's why I say let's not add politics to it. Someone saw the flyer on my status this morning and tells me that she lives around Wager. And they were totally swamped. Yes, totally swamped, and she doesn't know where the next help will come from.
And on top of that, there had to be spillage as well.
Yes, there had to be spillage.
Because of the structural integrity.
So that again brings to mind where you are living and where you are buying land at. I know that I am not comfortable with some of the demolitions being done, but they are necessary. They need to be done. Now, the other, I understand Chad was heavily flooded.
Yes.
Good. Someone sent me a message to say where the ICGC has been built used to be a very swampy area, like a lake, that the military even used it as a swimming ground or training ground. But all those areas were filled and buildings were put there. Now, someone also told me my Ghana is bad, but he said the GHOne. It's a Ghana word. It means a valley or something.
Yes, that's a valley, yes.
Yes, it's a valley. So things like that, even though we are using everyday GHOne, it's GHOne, as you said. So what happened that the GHOne, we don't know that the GHOne will get flooded. And if we build on all those...
Because we know that every valley collects.
Exactly. So we should know some of these things. So that is why, even though I am uncomfortable with the demolitions, I think that some of them are very necessary. My only worry about the demolition is sometimes giving notice so that if they can salvage some things, they should be. But I believe they will be giving notice anyway. So let us all put our hands to deck. No matter how you look at it politically. I heard one of the MPP commentators on TV this weekend, talking about the fact that he lost everything.
Oh yes, I think that's Dennis Miracles.
Yes, he lost everything.
We send our sympathies to
yes,
him.
my sympathies to him. But the bigger picture is that it affects everybody. So let's put all our hands to deck. If it is important that houses are demolished in waterways, Ramsar site, etc., let's all join. Then the education. The MPs go around the constituencies to campaign, to tell people what they are doing in parliament. Let this be part of the message they will put across. One area that Ghanaians are so passionate about is religion. So passionate is about religion. Those who do the dawn preaching, those who do the Sunday preaching, and yourself and myself who do it when we want to tease each other. Yes. Let us. We only know when you want to tease somebody that you know that a part of the Bible exists. Let us all use that position to educate somebody. That is why I say that for the NCC, whatever they have, they could be using it, because we all have the platform to use it. So I appeal to everybody using this platform that the flooding knows no political coloration. It knows no religious coloration. It knows no tribal coloration. But let's talk about those in a Volta region. Now, there have been issues of tidal wave for a long time. So this only aggravated the situation. I want to appeal to the powers that are helping, that quicken your steps, so that mitigate or ameliorate their plight before the floods also add more to it. I think that's what I have for this area.
Okay. Doc?
Yes, in fact, my parents' house was under water, but not to the extent
that others
have had. So I've witnessed it, lived it. It's a terrible experience to be woken up with water in your bedroom or in your house. In some instances, Jantua also had water up to his waist and has lost everything. It's a terrible experience. Let's put on record that funds meant for certain projects, unfortunately, sometimes are delayed in using. And I say this with reference to the Garrett program and others. And it's troublesome when administrations do change. Some decide to continue on programs that are well-meaning. Some decide to delay in doing them. But in all of this, I've been cited, and I will still say this, that some institutions that are meant for disaster management, and I would say like NADMO, should be run 80% by professionals.
I think this is not the first time you're making this call.
By professionals, and not quote-unquote party operatives who are clueless as to how to prevent and manage disasters and then manage after the disaster. So I really think that it's about time that we call a spade and ensure that the hydro engineers we have in this country, when they talk, it goes direct to cabinet, and it impresses on the cabinet's mind that these things have to be done. I think this gap between engineers and those who take decisions must be brought closer. And what I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, if the presidency can, is to not sit in meetings necessarily with neighbors and people who have been victims, but to have serious discussions with the hydro engineers and those who have made recommendations about storm drains, and then we need to carefully revisit how we widen the Odo, either in depth or in width, so that it can take on more volumes. Now, over the years, Greater Accra region, because of it being the capital city, has had huge urbanization.
Sure.
And we've not managed carefully the population increase in Accra, over 2 million, now I think almost 4 million in Greater Accra. And I want to really hope that this idea of transferring or relocating some governmental offices should be taken serious so that traffic can be reduced in Greater Accra. Nigeria has done it with Lagos, Abuja. And I think that we are nearing that, and we need to take some very bold
Should we relocate our
decisions.
capital city as well?
In California, the capital city is Sacramento, but they move governmental business every decade. So, maybe we can do that. So we can still maintain Greater Accra as a capital city, but then when you are looking for the seat of government, it's not in Greater Accra. And that may help. I mean, if, for instance, Ministry of Finance is in Akosombo, and all its other operations are in Akosombo, fantastic. Or lands and mineral resources finds itself in Kufoidia, and fortunately, with these roads that are being done, the Cape Coast Winneba Road, and then the Amasaman in Sawim, if it's done, moving from here to
For to be quite
in
easier.
Sawim or Adeso would not be such a difficult thing. The Asaman cases, so I really think that this is something that, from a developmental angle, we need to look at. And that will open up Accra a little bit better. Government has failed us monumentally, and I say this with the greatest of respect to all the parties in this country. I think that we've not taken this by the horn, and we've left it as a very normal thing. But we need to put on the Netherlands type of hat, the Japan type of hat, where they take the engineering very serious so as to prevent loss of lives. We all know how parking tickets are difficult in Japan. We know how their building permits are very difficult to get, largely because it has to be earthquake proof and you cannot cut corners. And they believe solidly that every decision you take to build, even a one bedroom, has to be carefully reviewed. And it causes also to attitudinal change. But in economics, there's what we call nudging. People will not change unless you construct things in a way that will let them change.
Cause them to change.
To the extent that even how men pee in the bathroom, a lot of men have lost girlfriends because of that. How they pee in the bathroom. It has to be managed. So when you go to Europe like this, most of their pee stations, there's a small dot of a drawing or something so that it makes you shoot there. So I'm just
Tell you to direct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If not, some of us will be pissing just anywhere, anyhow. So we need to construct our society in a way that you rethink. You can't go to Singapore and chew gum and just throw it away. Before it falls down, somebody will apprehend you, and you will be paying. You'll be paying.
They don't sell gum in Singapore, do they? They don't.
You get my point. Yeah. So we are here struggling with plastics, and yet there's no major move to ensure that we reduce plastics in this country. So we will continue to have You get my point? Because this is becoming a serious crisis in this country. So yes, you can produce the waters, but this bottles, small bottles. If I was president, I'll probably stop the small bottle production in this country and the sachet water, the small one. I would stop it and move to only big gallons in the homes and in the offices, so that when you need, you get it poured, and by just virtue of that, the volume of the small bottles that are blocking waterways will be cut out.
Okay.
And these are very drastic things that should be done right away, or can be done right away. So in summary, yes, the Ghanaian attitude has issues, but I believe that good governance is supposed to do things in a way that we are nudged or made to behave appropriately. And then the fines ought to work. Those who are supposed to be making the fines should do it so that people will change. And our waste management, terrible. Waste management in Accra, terrible. Even when you do the segregation, the person who's coming to pick your segregated things will go and mix it up. Then what's the point? So we have major issues as a country in supervision of work. And then when we go to people building in waterways, another brouhaha. The likes of now I think that it is no more lakeside, it is lake inside. Some of the houses around lakeside should not have been there to begin with. You're talking about concrete slabs. I'm talking about concrete buildings, okay? Block work. They
fill it up, yeah.
Let me cite a place like Kwashibu in my area. Major waterway, Lafa, and at the brink. In fact, people's walls are literally inside the waterway. And we do this to ourselves, and we wonder why water is overflowing onto our streets and things like that. There's no way American authorities will permit somebody to build a wall at the edge of a river or a waterway, because they are expecting that the banks will overflow at some point, and your home should be certain meters away. This is an engineering thing, right? Certain meters away from the waterway, and yet our chiefs will give you land. If you go close to Amasaman, there are places that people are filling water with sand to build on. And when they wake up with water in their room, they are wondering how it happened. It shouldn't happen in the first place. They are literally putting piles of garbage in the water and then filling with sand. The next thing you know, 1 or 2 bedrooms are on it. And the authorities drive there every day, and they are watching it. The Dansuman municipal chief also, Ablekuma West, I think, was showing videos of people building close to the waterway that covers up to Pambros and all those. It's sickening, and it has nothing to do with the educated mind, because let me say on TV that professors, architects, lawyers, judges are the Ramsey side. Politicians, okay? So army generals. So it's not about education. There's something just wrong with our system that prevents the checks and balances. And I really think that is troubling. And Mr. President has all of us our support. And this is the time that some of these actions ought to be taken. We're in a country where municipal chiefs are waiting for a regional minister to issue clearance for, moving buildings in a waterway. And when I heard this on air from the Ablekuma West municipal chief, I cried. I said, hey, you've seen the thing. clearly in a waterway, how do you need clearance when we are doing a non-centralized government and the mandate of the municipal chief, literally the president at the municipal, is waiting for additional clearance? Obviously, sometimes big people call big people, and then big people call small people. And if, by the end of the day, that demolition does not happen. So I really think that maybe in this country, we need to have a demolition minister who will take all the action and will be apolitical, and nobody can go and worry him that I am Mr. So and so, and it is my building. We have similar stories in my own constituency, where there's a building clearly in the roadway, but you have people above MP level calling that, hey, don't touch this one. This one is our person, or he supports this, that. If he didn't support the party, you'll not be in power. So I really think that these are troubling, and we all as a country need to wake up, and any life lost is not good. And I'll challenge the Ghanaian insurance companies that, listen, already we have issues with insurance in this country where many vehicle owners pay and they never really claim. So Ghana insurance industry, I want to hear you when a disaster relief time, and I'm throwing a challenge to some of you that help with this activity of clearing debris. If you don't do anything, Ghana Insurance Association, I think it's chaired now by a woman. I'm throwing this challenge that, please, the military will come in, all of these other parties will come in. Insurance has a role to play. And though they are not offering enough flood insurance in this country or in Accra, one, there's a time for them to devise flood insurance. And then two, they need to up their game. Ghanaians are suffering. And as an insurance company, they need to show leadership. So in as much as we are demanding from the politicians, there are good corporate responsibilities that some of the insurance companies need to exhibit. And this fine morning of July, is it 6th?
Yes, July 6th. Yeah.
July 6th, I'm making my small demand based on my experience. I used to live in Connecticut, and Connecticut is one of the capitals for insurance in terms of if you are thinking of insurance. So I have very good experience with insurance, and I think that I want to fill them, the likes of, not to mention any particular names, QIC, and Enterprise.
The Star Assurance.
And Star Assurance.
They should also be putting something in the kitty. I totally agree with you.
To support this exercise.
I totally agree with you. He couldn't have said it any better. I think that this, in certain countries, when things like this happen, the insurance companies come up to say, we will do ABC. And as he said, Ghana Institution of Engineering, let's hear you to put in something in the kitty. I think a lot of our civil and philanthropic behavior has gone back. We can't remember that we need to do things like this. But when things like this happen, I think that it calls for a cry for distress is a cry for relief. You know it, yes. Yeah. So we should all be coming up to say, let us help the victims.
I don't go to Duncan Williams' church, but I think I saw something that they also were providing some hot meals.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah. Others should follow.
Yeah, I think so.
The churches also take quite a good offering on Sundays. And for that reason, Ghanaian churches, not that I like Pentecostal or Presby, but and Methodist, but I think they've also taken quite a good number, and they don't pay taxes. And, for that reason, I think that they should also help with the decongestion or debris, or however I want to put it, to clear the debris at most of these sites. So, the churches should not come at me. I'm only, raising a call. The way and manner they are within our society, they can't always be just taking offerings. I think that this is time for them to also come in and help. Either their church members who need relief, or the state itself.
Populace, yeah.
As I was driving here, I mean, I saw debris on the road, and there's an eyesore after almost a week. Close to...
today is exactly a week.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. So let's all help in removing debris, either through the churches or the insurance companies. Today, by the time I leave here, but it is what it is.
It must be said.
It must be said, and I have to say it. Yeah.
And if it must be done, it must be done well.
Yeah. And with the NCCE, I mean, council, I think that education is marketing, and you need funding for that. The NCCE cannot come to breakfast show and just come and talk and go. They need electricity at breakfast show, so or Joy or wherever. You need funding to educate the public, and over the years, I'm not going to say that it's the NDC administration. Over the years, their budgetary needs and what they get has not matched.
Low.
And I think that even on health grounds, there's a time now for them to beef up on cholera control.
Actually, the ministry has started education.
NCC or the ministry?
The ministry itself, the Ministry of Health. So last week, they were here, we had a conversation, and I've seen that the health minister himself has been going around.
But you see, there's a vehicle in the country for this. And when you do duplication of effort, it is worrying. So I kudos to the ministry, but if there's an engine running, we shouldn't duplicate the effort.
We should resource the engine.
Resource the engine, and then allow them, because they have already people in the communities. Okay. And every municipal in this country has
NCC director,
NCC there. So that is the most appropriate thing. Right. This is governance. People have to appreciate what governance is. That's why there's local governance. And it is not now that the Ministry of Health is going to create agents in every municipal to go teaching about this. There's already a system. So I would encourage the Ministry
we take advantage of
Health
that system
to also rather put something in the kitty for NCC, and then lands and natural resources. I mean, all of them can help.
Especially works and housing.
Even more so. Even more so. So that, and then I want to see a very serious forum where Greater Accra Municipal Chief Executives are put through proper orientation with regards to flood management and prevention and relief, so that they can also then go back to the various municipals and be able to manage affairs as such. Many at times, even those who know need to be retrained. And I think that this is a wake-up call for all of us. And also, let me use this opportunity to thank our former Vice President for his visitation. He brought some relief, mattresses, rice, and a few things, and some cash donations for people who had lost family members. And I think that was very nice, to say the least. So Anyaso Tum is grateful to Mr.
Former Vice President, Dr.
And
Mohammed.
let me say our current flag bearer. I think that's his new title.
Yeah. What of shelters? It's as though in all our doings we have forgotten shelters. We're looking at, want to prevent. Even though we want to prevent, we'll still experience it anyway, even though not the magnitude we are looking at. But we also need to look at shelters as well. Councillor, do you think that...
Yes, I think we need to look at shelters. And invariably, if you look at, you watch the videos on the day or after, a number of people were crying that they have no places to put their head to. And I've been a victim of flooding myself before.
Oh.
Yes, I used to live at Westland.
And that's where Mr. Jantua lives.
Oh, okay. And it was quite terrible. My personal one.
We should find out the real gun name for Westland.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well,
Yes, maybe it's a bigger.
Maybe it's called in GHOne.
Yes, maybe it's a bigger.
or maybe it's a wetland.
Yes.
That was, I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
westernized. Yeah.
Yes, and sadly, mine. We finished, I think, the law school exams. I put all my books on the floor. Then I traveled. Then I said, when I'm back, I'll come and pack everything. And a friend came, and we both traveled out. Our cars were flooded. The books and everything got flooded. So and it is not just recovering or trying to get back things that got flooded.
Psychological.
The room itself became
A madhouse.
A madhouse. Yes. And I was away quickly. A colleague also ran there to say, let me get some people to start to clean before you guys return. And when they sent videos and pictures, I was like, if I was around, I would have just raised my hand to say, Charlie, it's all gone. Let's forget about it. So those who, you notice some people even have to run to the roofs of their building. Yeah. So their rooms would definitely have a lot of silt that needs to be cleaned, etc. So at this stage, yes, it all boils down to our preparedness. How prepared were we that when things happen like this and you are, let's say, in Jaulu, you are all moving towards the top of Fiesta Royal. How prepared are we that we should have all these emergency response centers? How prepared are we? That is why my heart was gladdened when the army were called in to come and do this. In certain jurisdictions, they don't even wait for the commander-in-chief before they start this thing.
They jump in.
They jump in.
Well, they don't have a substantive minister.
But they have a deputy minister.
They have a deputy minister.
And they have an acting minister who is, I mean, all those things. You are trying very hard to kick the ball against.
I think Mr. President has delayed in calling for, nomination for those
in appointing a defense
ministries.
minister.
And environment, not to take the wind off you, but in all fairness, it is known that these climate changes are affecting third world countries more than the Western world.
Yes.
And for that reason, not a climate person who's just having a desk at the presidency. We need an environment minister who will make this case very strong, because the environment's relation to flooding should be known. And that comes in with the prevention. 4 inches or 5 inches of rain, look at what it's done to us. You understand? So, Council, the volumes have changed. We need to admit that. In terms of the quantity of rains this year.
Yes, because we have the El Nino effect.
And that is why Mr. President needs to appoint to us our environment minister. He can't do it all. And a defense minister. 10 months, oh my goodness. It's a long time.
I think that the president is fully aware of your concerns.
Well, I have to raise it again.
I believe that you're the president.
This one, Mr. President.
It's been almost a year.
Yes, but you are equally saying that is if the acting and the deputies are not working well, they are all working well.
There's a difference.
Yes, I know there's a difference.
It's different.
I know there's a difference, but again, my heart has been gladdened by the fact that the military is coming in. I've always been thinking, you go to the Burma camp, what they've all been doing. We have the 48 or 49 engineers regiment that is also working. And in most areas, you see, even the recent Venezuela earthquake, the army that working. Even the persons U.S. sent to help them were the army. You see the Philippines, you see Vietnam, all these areas that they have this type of flooding, etc., is the army that comes in, start to work readily with their sandbags, etc. Yes, they have because of their discipline and preparedness, they are the best to handle it. So one of the things they should be also looking at is how they should help the people who have been heavily affected by getting them some temporary shelters. And you watch
relief items.
Yes, you watch about 2 years ago when the Water Lake spillage came in. So how they were able to help some of those areas. How
so we need Okujato Ablakwa to come.
Yes, of course. The
Foreign affairs
he really did well at the time.
Yes.
No, now we're talking about now.
But he's handling a foreign affairs ministry.
Yes, the institutional memories will be shared, so it's not a big deal. You're still trying very hard to hit the ball against me so that you have an own goal. That will not that will not happen. I'll resist it. That will not happen. Yes. So apart from the fact that they needed the things you were talking about, now there's the tendency that when you have a temporary shelter arrangement, you bring the new type of problem. Okay.
They won't move when they need to.
Yes, they won't move when there's the time for people to move. Then it becomes a new shanty town, and it grows and becomes a new something with all the attendants, hygiene, etc. Then it becomes another area which is susceptible to another flooding zone. So some of those things need to come in play when we are planning for some of these temporary relief measures.
Okay.
But the bigger picture is going forward. We as a nation, what do we want? What can we all do individually to help the situation? That is something we should be thinking about, because the flooding is no more just concentrated to the low-lying areas we knew. Way before AI came, the GIS maps, etc. about Accra, we knew where the floods would be coming. We knew the amount of rainfall that would cause a surface runoff to get us flood. We knew all those things.
We need storm drains.
Yes, we need all those things.
Units.
And Lily, let's be honest. Let me just give you between Hacho Total to transition, or even to
Atomic.
Even to Puma.
Oh,
when you're going home today, check the drainage.
Very tiny.
Very tiny. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Very
We are
tiny.
talking about 2024, 2026.
not fit for purpose.
At all.
Very tiny.
From the police station.
Yes, you're going. I just want the
From the Hacho Total.
Yes.
Even to transitions.
Yes.
And now that particular bridge before the transitions,
yes,
it overflows.
Yes, because it's carrying the water from Brie Mountains. And it's that one that goes through Christian Village, etc., all the way down to the Odo River.
And whilst you're saying, let's remind them of Kaswa right now. Terrible.
Good.
Wager, as you're talking about.
Once it rains, that area is cut off.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we have people who are district and municipal engineers, and all these guys are supposed to be civil engineers and taking decisions, and they are supposed to be persons that we are paying monthly, and they are the people who approve certain building permits, etc., to go into. So the whole question is, what are they delivering for us? And
have they lived up to expectation? I would say no.
Yes, and in fact, the culverts in Hacho, it was something 2 years ago. I mentioned to a colleague that we are in 2024, then it was 2024. And he was laughing and said, this cannot hold even a drizzle. It cannot. And this is something that we are looking at maybe in the next 10, 15 years before a new one is coming. And the whole area is not like 20 years before, when there were 1 or 2 houses, etc., there were grass, everything. So even as we are planning into the future, we are building with old age situations in mind. So going forward, if we are still carrying all those, let me use the word, maybe pre-1957.
Primitive mentality.
Okay. You are on your own on this.
No, that is the actual truth.
You see, if we carry all that into today and into the future, we are not helping ourselves. So I want to appeal to those who give the contracts at the municipal and district level that some of these things are local issues. Get out of your office, go round. You must make the case to say that the size of this culvert, the diameter, is not enough to accommodate the situation we have. And there should be collaboration between Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, Ghana Hydrological Society, Ghana Water Resources Commission. They should be able to get all those data.
They are on authority now.
Yes, authority. Yes, they should be able to get that data. And today we have AI. You could even just put in to say what is the annual average rainfall runoff that we should expect between Atomic Junction and Atomic Police Station, and it should be able to give you what will be the calculation for my storm drain, etc., the culvert size. It should be able to give you. So we should be able to make use of some of these things going forward and make the point clearly and strongly that if we begin to, if we continue to use the primitive ways, as Lily had put it, we are not going to achieve.
At least you borrowed my words.
Yes, we are not going to achieve the new millennial result. Those are some of the things that worry me. And you drive around and you see it. Then post flooding. It worries me that post flooding, it takes so long for things to get cleared. So long. Then assuming that within this week it rains again, the ones that are visible that we can see are washed back to choke the very gutters that we are trying to prevent the choking from. So some of the ways that the MMDCs and the MMDAs operate, the assemblies operate, they should be proactive to be able to identify, because these are local things. They are not.
Maybe they need a chopper.
Oh no.
You know, I had.
You see, the chopper thing was the president visiting the shop floor, which happened. So you give examples of.
Anyways, drones can do some of these now.
Yes, drones can do. Yes,
and even better.
Yes,
in terms of closeness.
Yes.
To the thing.
I totally.
So
agree
we need
with
to
you.
improve on our
capturing. And you might also have noticed that almost each time we have rain, the flooding, somehow fire comes along.
Yes. They are interlinked.
Somehow fire comes along. That is where when we had the June 3rd disaster those days, a colleague friend of mine who was working with national security sought my input in how to fight things like that. And I was advising that we could get drones for fighting fires. Yes, because you go to a place
even
like
the regular tenders, we don't have enough.
Oh no, yes. So
we don't even have enough fire hydrants. We don't even have access routes.
Yeah.
The fire service themselves, they need to be serviced. That's the truth.
Yes,
you've said it right.
I've just received a message that we, your colleague engineers, won't be happy with you the way you are flashing back. That is that. So tone down on it. But
the
really,
truth needs to
I'll
be
push
told.
that to you to be telling them.
No, but the truth needs to be told. You're an engineer, so you have a better appreciation of it.
And you look at, I was in Netherlands, and someone was spraying the farm. I don't know whether weedicide or fertilizers, and they were using. Those days I used to call it a mini helicopter.
Okay.
Today it's a drone. It's a mini helicopter. I mean, that maybe ideally can carry maybe 2 or 3 4 gallons. And it was flying and doing the spraying. So if we have something like that could fly to non-accessible areas because of the situations we have.
Last week,
yes,
the fire service couldn't go because of the rain.
Yes.
And the place was burning.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, so if we could have those modern type, that is why in this year's budget, when I heard that there will be retooling of the fire service, my heart gladdens because we might get something like this for fighting some of these things. So if it is raining and the fire and access routes are also not there, and the fire service is close by, they can deploy the drones so that the drones can fly.
And they also deploy Aboboya drones.
Oh.
Okay, let me take a break.
The people who are suffering will not take kindly to it from you.
Let me take a break here. When I return, we'll talk about an issue that has received mixed reactions with regards to the courses that we teach in our various universities and colleges of education, whether or not they meet the growing need of the economy. Stay with us. I mentioned before that break, on the courses that we read in schools and whether or not they meet the demands of the Republic. Dr. GHOne, the former education minister, has stirred some waters, and some feathers have been ruffled, others to agree with him. Some say that, well, it's true that some of the courses need to be relooked or some need to be scrapped at all. Doc, for you, do you think that Dr. GHOne was right?
I don't know. So let me be very blunt here. I'm of the school of thought that education is to help you make decisions and not necessarily jobs. So that is one very key thing. We get education so that over the years, the decisions we take will be appropriate. And every employer wants people who are knowledgeable because they take, most of the times, better decisions. Now, in our country, I mean, what Dr. GHOne has said will resonate with the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and his reason for doing Kumasi Science and Tech. And it begs the question, where is our next Kumasi Science and Tech? Looking at how Korea has, moved up in the technology avenue, and the fact that we got independence and we should be where literally the Koreas are. I'm not mentioning even big countries, when I say big countries, those who had taken lead before us. So by virtue of the fact that, Ghana is behind on the advancement trajectory per our educational system, I would support what Dr. GHOne is saying. It's a very painful pill to take, but here is a case where nothing against lawyers like Thomas, but Theophilus, sorry. Our country now is becoming a literature country, and that will not push us forward. We need more science and tech, more engineers, even roads, we're not seeing top. And when you go to the likes of Japan and Taiwan and things like that, and you look at their infrastructure, how they've utilized waterways, you'd appreciate what Dr. GHOne is saying. And I think that this goes even beyond just the courses at the school. It goes beyond that. So I would side with him. If you want to do vocational schools, do them and go there. But to go into university with limited resources in this country, we're not a country where we have so much resources. So the little we have, it would be better we train people. And, it's taken only a few engineers to change the world. Mark Zuckerberg, one engineer, computer engineering person, the likes of the late Steve Jobs, serious engineering guy. The blue chip companies, engineering, computing, though we know Bill Gates, there are many other software companies that came out of, So it begs the question. And look at Zoom. Companies like the likes of Zoom have revenues bigger than our entire country, GDP. I mean, today, iPhone is $1 trillion company. What is Ghana's GDP? So if we were to create more engineers in this country who would use our wood to do furniture designs that have never been seen and even export it, we'll do better. So I will plead with the people who are not understanding or appreciating what Dr. GHOne is saying, that to push this country into a development mode, we need to be mindful of our curriculum. We need to be mindful of how we train the next generation. So I'm a firm believer, supporter of this STEM initiative, and it needs to be pushed. And the universities need to be ready to take up the STEM program. It so happens that in truthfulness, some of the STEM schools have equipments better than even our universities. So imagine finishing STEM and you're supposed to go into aerodynamics, aviation, and your university doesn't have the equipment to push you into the next domain. If the secondary school level has upgraded, what is the university waiting for? So literally, Kwame Nkrumah is also crying. And look at how many years ago we had Kwame Nkrumah, 1957, thereabout. He saw the need for what Dr. GHOne is saying today, almost 70 years after. And for that matter, I can almost tell Ghanaians that when he visits even K University, where now there are even more, quote-unquote, social classes than the engineering classes that were supposed to have been the bedrock of K University. It is troubling. So the Vice Chancellor for K University needs to really carefully look at revisiting what the true mandate or the true deal for what K University should have been. And then this also begs the question, where is our next one? As a country with now 33, 34 million people.
33.
The census is always underestimated, truly. Some homes have 10 people. When you go there, they say there are 2. Yes. So Ghana's 33 million, plus or minus maybe 4 million. So my key thing here, and this is a big question, not for necessarily this current administration, but as a country, Legon is gone. Legon cannot withstand our population now. We need to build more tertiary institution. We're here, what's his name? Elon Musk is developing things to go into the moon. And we cannot even solve our pothole issues in this country. and the Chinese thing. If you go to China, I saw a woman quoting that the engineers are revered more than any person in the society. And that is the right way to go. Here, need I say, the lawyers are making a lot of noise. It's nice, but it is the engineers that will push us to the advancement that we need as a country. So I'll beg. I think that Dr. GHOne has told us a bitter thing that we need to swallow, and he's in line with what Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was envisioning for tech. And for that matter, this is an old vision being reborn. And the country should welcome it and take it so that we can do many of these audio visuals now in this country. We buy them. We can't even do audio visual things in this country. These chairs we are sitting on, how can Mother Ghana, we can't produce these? Yeah. I mean, toothpick, for crying out loud. By the end of this year, we would have imported toothpick. Whilst we have this local, thing that, we chew, which can also work. I mean, we have wood in Ghana, for crying out loud. We have wood, and we're importing toothpick. So, the GHOne is right. These, so many things. These Stanley cups that our children all love, we can't even produce them here. Why? Cup, thermostat, water heater, all of these very below average productions.
They're all important.
We cannot do them in this country because, 1, we don't have the expertise. 2, that one engineer that knows it, when he kaputs, that is it. Our aviation is in shambles because we are not putting in more engineers there. If you go to, not to remind us of our pain, but, our aviation industry and aerodynamics, I think it can be one of the things that we can decide on to be strong on. Ghanaians like to fly. We're here pushing for Ghana Airways, but where are the engineers going to come from? to manage Ghana Airways. We always want to do this sugar factory without the farming. It's not possible, and that's why we're here. We should have rather farmed first and had many acres full engineered to produce sugar cane in large volumes, and then our headache would be, now how do we produce sugar? But we're always sometimes putting the cart before the horse. And I really think that it's a crisis. There's an engineering crisis in this country. And he's screaming it. And I support him. He's screaming. Medical equipments get faulty. To get an engineer who's qualified to, bioengineer to do it, sometimes you have to even, import
Result,
one from another country, Germany. Whilst we have the people here. We've done well with the Kokompe garages, but please, we're in a century where, some of the things that are produced, if Kokompe tries, it won't work.
Yeah, and all they do is try makwe.
Yeah, it won't work. And the people get exposed to things they shouldn't be exposed to. Mercury and other substances. So, and to conclude, now that we are mining heavily gold, the genesis of our problem of illegal mining and the poor manner and way these boys mine is largely because we have not developed in advancement the appropriate technologies to mine in this country. If we had more people in engineering, I'm sure we would have come up with very fantastic solutions. There are many great Africans who produced things and invented things that are helping. I just realized recently that GPS was done by a black woman in the US.
Yeah.
So the mind is there, but it has to be, put in an environment where it can work. And what GHOne is saying is that, listen, dear Ghana, we need to revisit engineering. Okay. And I know Theophilus, as an engineer, will certainly say that there should be more engineers, who can perform and do well. And in that regard, many women in engineering is nice.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yeah.
To a large extent, I disagree with Dr. GHOne, not because of politics. There are ways of saying things that are suiting to the ear. We have a whole university called University of Developmental Studies.
Yeah.
Then you ask, how do we have a course in developmental studies? I mean, that cannot, with all respect to him, that cannot make sense. You can't have, we have a whole university called Developmental Studies. And you're asking of, why do we have a course called Developmental Studies? Yes, I agree with him to an extent that our curriculum should be tailored towards what we need and what the world out there needs. Now, an area which is missing a lot in all curriculum is entrepreneurship. Seriously missing. And you see, we have made up...
become a preserve for I cannot find work.
Yes. We have made ourselves, siloed ourselves such that, Lily, I always give myself as an example in this era. I was on vacation from the mines, and I saw an advert that they were looking for somebody for a pharmacy for 2 months. And I'm on holiday for almost 3 months. Oh, come on. They were looking for middle school living certificate. And I walked in and said, I can do this. The man looks at me and says, oh, from mines, then you should be in Obuasi. You see, he's thinking straight away, because you mentioned mine, you should be in Obuasi. My first boss in UK was a stenographer who was in charge of water resource engineers and hydrologists. Because she has been there and had grown through the system, she knows how the system works. They never told her that, look, you're a stenographer, you are supposed to be typing. But that is what we have here. So there are a lot of things that we teach here, and they do it such that once you get that, somebody is studying history, and you ask him or her, what do you want to use the history for? So you are not looking beyond the history title that the person is studying. So it is not just about the subject we are studying. It is about who is going to employ you, having that type of subject in mind. I can tell you, until recently, law practice management was not a course at the law school. Okay? So a number of lawyers, the older ones, maybe those who have completed 15 to 20 years, never knew anything about law practice, how to manage an office. And you will notice that a lot of them were from either first degree or straight into law degree and become lawyers. So all their lives, all they know is law. The management, the entrepreneurship, etc. is not there. Now, you will notice now that things are changing. That is why you will see that a lot of the laws against the, let me use the word, expansion of the law chambers are rigid. Until recently, that a number of them began to have websites. They never had websites. They never used Facebook because the law is against advertising and touting. And they consider that as advertising. But now, things have caught up with them. They need to open that gate and for others to come in. So, but let's go back to Dr. GHOne. You know his last position before he exited government?
Minister of Education.
And he never saw this. He said he spoke to a vice chancellor who said that somebody check out of the course. And that ended it. No, there should have been policy direction under him to say that let us do it ABC instead of the path we are going currently. Largely, a number of us had gone to school with the view that you just have to chew, pass, and move on. You see children, they start, here is Kwame. Kwame is a boy. He is a boy. He says, I'm a boy. You point at boy, they don't actually know which of the words is a boy because we have been taught that way. So, and I've said it here before, don't get me wrong. A number of our very good students don't go into teacher training. So the materials we produce are a reflection of the people we send there to start to teach them. Yes, there are some very good ones who go, but a number of the very good ones from SHS. Lily, look at your mates. Those who had all the A's and the B2s had either gone to Legon, gone to Tech, had gone to Cape Vaz. I mean, then it seems to the teacher training and the nurses training comes to the bottom. Now, is it the possibility? See, in a place like UK, Doc will tell you, if you want to do nursing, and for example, you don't have the qualifications to do nursing, there's a program called Access to Nursing, where you are taught the basics of the first year type of nursing, where you get that certificate. That allows you to jump maybe the F9 or the E7, E8 you have to start the nursing. But we don't have things like that. For here, the moment you get the F7, F9, no matter what you want to do, that ends your education over there. So I was expecting that as a minister or as a former minister, when he was in office.
And as an educationist himself.
Yes, and we heard that he had schools or
he has schools
in the US.
United States,
yes. Yeah. So what has it? What
specifically was California?
Okay. What was it that he brought in apart from the STEM schools we had, as he's saying? What was it that he has implemented that has changed the dynamics? You know, a lot of people, young ones are flooding our country now from Germany, from the US, etc., want to take gap year to understand what they want to do and the courses to know what goes in. They do it in their own country as well. Someone is finishing the senior secondary school, senior high, and the person is already working in McDonald's and understanding customer service and understanding time management, understanding money management, etc. We don't have any of those things here. Yeah. So what was it that he did under his administration or his tenure? He was a deputy, became a substantive. So for you now to be outside and be piecing in, it makes it difficult for people like me to just wholeheartedly absorb all that you are saying. So what I will advise him is that, okay, now you have the ideas. Put up a policy, put together a policy paper. Get the ministry, you still have people in the ministry that know you and that you know them. Get them engaged and let the ministry buy into your policy paper. For all you know, he will be, as he said, the things Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said those days. Perhaps he will be our new Dr. Kwame Nkrumah going forward. Okay. Then we will all be able to say, this was a GHOne technology that we are using today. Okay.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We do appreciate you for coming. That's Theophilus Jimega Jr. Esquire. He's a mining engineer, a private legal practitioner and a member of the NDC communications team and the NDC legal team. And then Dr. Dixon Adomakukisi is a former member of parliament for the good people of Anyasotum. He's also a member of the NPP communications team. But before you go, as part of our topics, we're to discuss the arrest of former CEO for Buffer Stock. Let me take a minute each from either of you. Doc.
Well, I think that the rights of individuals who are accused needs to be managed well under the NDC administration. To a large extent, I mean, if I'm, falsely accused, it doesn't mean that my life shouldn't go on. And even if it's true accusation, it doesn't mean that limitations to some of the things. And sometimes it becomes a bit too far-reaching, especially when the wheels of justice in this country is even more slower than anywhere else. If this case should run amok for what happened to the likes of Dr. Pudi, who I think that some of his rights were also trampled, I think that in all fairness, we need to carefully manage, how individuals who are put under arrest or accused are managed. Being accused doesn't mean you are guilty. And for that matter, you should be stopped from all the things that you do. If I'm an executive in my private life, for instance, right now, and somebody accuses me of something, it doesn't mean that everything that I've been doing should come to a stop. And when the Attorney General's office is also, in a way, not putting all their T's crossed, and their I's dotted. It's quite worrying for me. And I say this, a lawyer should appreciate what I'm talking about to the extent that individual rights, unless you've been sentenced to the firing squad, and even in cases where you have a life sentence, you still have rights until you die. So I really think that under this administration, there's been a real push to the limits in terms of individual rights when people are accused. And I think it is worrying. To even borrow from Haruna Idrisu, he made it clear about some weeks ago that, listen, people who are accused and being politicized and all of that, we need to worry as a country. People are watching us, okay? And the tables can turn at any point in time. And I don't like equalization. Oh, the MPP did it, they did it worse. No. Ghanaians have given you the mandate. Show us something better.
Okay.
If not, then we all keep coming back and doing it worse. Ballooning. Will we ever make headway in this country? And we need to do better than our previous generations. So I'm not happy. Not that I love, the buffer stock former CEO. But my point is that go to the ordinary police stations right now. People who have been falsely accused, go and see what they are doing to them. They can't even just buy water to drink. I mean, very bad situations. And this cuts across the entire country. And
the shoe is on the other feet. You hear this type of conversation. It's interesting. We do not know the full facts. The trial, some of these trials become so political that propaganda feeds into it. Let's get that clear. We were in this country when, even though he doesn't like equalization, when Vomawo, who was doing PhD at Cambridge, Godfrey Dami says that he was a flight risk. Today says if you have taken your passport, etc. But this particular guy, we have been told that he has tried to withdraw some money from his frozen account.
Those are the facts that we know.
Yes, so financial intelligence should be coming in to find out from the banks how did this happen that he even went to that level. And so Godfrey Dami said they are going to court to cite the Attorney General for contempt. Let's wait. Let's see what comes out of it. But he shouldn't be the one who will be shouting because we have seen his track record. So, Doc, the people in your party who are saying when they come to power, they will also retaliate. Tell them that when they come...
I'm not in support.
I know. I totally agree with you. Tell them that when they come, they should be better than what we are seeing now. Because indeed, things that happen. Yes, you are talking about people whose profiles were put out there. It happens in the developed countries too, except that in certain instances, they just tell you, let them get to court, the playground. Then we all see what is in the kitty.
Okay. Thank you very much, Council. Thank you too, Doc. That should do for the breakfast review. I take a break. When I come back, in all of this flooding conversations, one unit that most people have overlooked is the Marine Police and what they do for us. We'll have a conversation with the Marine Police and how they also fit in this particular conversation. As the Ghana Meteorological Agency has said that indeed we are going to be experiencing more showers. Stay with me.
So Marine Coastal Rescue Guard Ghana has been in active duty for good 14 years now and still counting. We mostly do lifeguarding duties, flood rescue, urban rescue, and let me say anything concerning security around water bodies in general. Okay. All we do is not only based with water. We do mostly some land duties. We do, yes, water-based duties too. Land duties, that is whenever there is any form of emergency within the country, we join other sister services to help. We can cite the recent collapse of the building around the Aveno area. We had some of our men there to assist. And sometimes we do guard duties for ceremonies since 2014.
Okay, since 2014. Yes. And are you under any of the services or you operate?
Heat Engineers.
No, the 48th Engineers Regiment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We have NADMO.
Right.
But for some time now, let me see, they also support us.
They are equally constrained.
Yes, they support us. Sometimes we work hand in hand with the fire service too, depending on the current emergency situation on grounds. Yes, whichever service calls.
So what you do is primarily emergency response.
Yes.
Okay.
Not necessarily emergency response. Like during holidays, we deploy our men to the beaches to safeguard lives. Not only holidays, when there are national ceremonies going on around the National Square where it's closer to the beach. Sometimes after the program, people would want to take a swim. So there too, we deploy our men to save lives and safeguard people around the coastal areas.
Okay, let's look at the recent flooding and the role you played.
Okay, so the recent flood, that was last week Monday.
Yes, exactly a week today.
Due to our number, we were able to take from Malam Market all the way to some parts of Kaswa and Weja. Although I myself, I was affected, but when the call came, yes.
Now you have to serve the nation.
Yes, when the call came, I had to leave my place and quickly rush to the flooded areas. We started from Malam Market, did a little bit of rescue there, went to Malam Junction. That's where we had our current commissioner.
Okay.
And whenever there is any issue, he needs us on board, just a call, and our men are ready to move to assist them.
Are there challenges that you encounter